It's good to have you here. Will we have you here again on a player roster capacity next season, Udonis?
I probably could have asked that question for you. Like, it's no surprise that was going to be the first question. As usual, I mean, I have not recovered from obviously the loss to Boston. So, as usual, I'll take my time, sit down with the family, Pat, Mickey, and talk about, what's next and where it goes.
That said, do you want to come back as of now as you go into that conversation? Right now, coming off 48 hours later, do you want to, at this moment, come back?
I mean, hell, I want to be playing right now. I can get what I want. I want to still be playing. So I'm not getting what I want in the moment. So right now it's time to take a mental break and then figure that out after that.
Bam always seems to take a lot of unfair criticism for the most part, but he answered in some big ways in this Boston series. What did you take away from the series for him, and what do you think he can build on going into what's for him going to be one of his first full off seasons to work?
I mean, that he's capable. I think, a lot of people question was he capable, and he showed that he's capable, and not just capable, but capable of doing it on a big stage, in big time moments when we needed the most. And I think that was a lot of the questions that people were asking. And, I try to explain to a lot of people, it's not just, black and white for Bam. A lot of times when you have a guy who hands the ball off or who creates triggers, he's just a roll to the basket guy. He doesn't have any other skill set. Bam is a guy who creates triggers, rolls to the basket, but he also has a very high skill set and has to do a lot of different things for us offensively and defensively. So it's not just as easy as saying, go out there and go for yours, Bam. If it was that easy, I think he would get it. But when you have to balance that with getting guys involved and rolling to the basket to create triggers to get other guys shot and making sure that you be able to get your shot and get yourself involved, it becomes a little confusing sometimes, for a young basketball player. I think that was the toughest thing for Bam to, recognize those moments and take advantage of it and attack them.
Obviously, Tyler had a great regular season, but what do you think he learned from this postseason when teams were throwing different coverages at him, trapping him to take the ball out of his hands? What do you think he could take away from this playoff experience?
I think he's understood that it was going to be a different approach going into the playoffs. I think that was a conversation that I had with him, that, teams are going to focus on a lot of different things, and you would be one of them. I remember back in the playoff series when we were playing against OKC, and, the focus was, on, Westbrook and Kevin Durant. And the main focus that we had as a team was stopping James Harden, coming off the bench and the impact that he had off the bench. So I can see a team coming into a series against us really having an impact of focusing and then taking Tyler out of a series offensively. And I had that conversation with him, so he was prepared for that. But unfortunately, he had his injury. But coming into a series or any kind of game, I will express to Tyler, and I think Tyler understands that he can help us win basketball games in more ways than just scoring the basketball. He's improved with his passing. He's getting better with his defense and understanding being in the right place at the right time. But these are all things that he's just got to continue to work on.
There are things that you already knew before the season, like how good Tyler would be. I remember talking about that with you. There are things that we collectively as a media group learned this season, like Strus, Vincent, are contributing good NBA rotation players. Can you give me a couple examples, UD, of things that you learned specifically about this roster or individual players that impressed you over the course of the last 9 months?
I think the only person who was impressed was the people on TV. I wasn't impressed at all, and I believe in hard work. I believe in my guys. And that's just the conversation that I was having, about a lot of different things. It was never personal about, Draymond or anything like that, just to touch on that. It was more so, I just want my guys to have the respect that they deserve. I understand that there's a lot of undrafted guys on this team. I understand that, we might not have the guys that might score 60 or 70 points, but we got guys that come in every day, work their ass off, great teammates, and really focus on the right things and kind of try to contribute to winning. Regardless of whether people understand that or not, it shouldn't be disrespected or overlooked by anybody. And for me, I'm always gonna speak up for my guys, and my guys bust their ass every day. The Max Struces and the Duncans and the Calebs and all these guys that are undrafted that people just don't know their names. I'm happy that those guys got to step out on this huge stage, and people got to see them play the way they were capable of playing, and see why we made it to where we are. I'm not embarrassed, and I have no complaints. I'm actually proud of my guys.
You just mentioned that you're still not over the loss from the weekend, and the cameras caught you. You very visibly frustrated after the final buzzer there. What specifically was so frustrating about the loss and the way the season turned out for you
I
guys?
mean, you just want it for your guys. Like I said, I see how these guys work. I see the body of work that they put in. When people aren't here, these guys really start. They work 2 months before training camp. These guys are in here working. I'm old, so I'm not here that early. But our young guys are. Our young guys are here. You know what I'm saying? They here every day, punching the clock, putting in that work. It's no coincidence the results you see. So for me, watching those guys be so close and not be able to get over the hump, it's hurtful. You know what I'm saying? Because I want them to feel what it feels like to be a champion. Because like I tell these guys all the time, all year, we sit back and, we watch and we pay attention, but we don't say anything. Well, we've been overlooked, you know what I'm saying? And, this was our time to speak up and speak for ourselves. And whether we won or not, I think all of our guys spoke very loudly and clearly when they had the opportunity with the way they played and approached these games.
Did you think Jimmy's shot was going in? What was kind of going through your head when he took it?
Yeah, I thought it was going in, and I thought it was a great shot. I've been around a lot of great basketball players, man. And I think all those guys, when they have the opportunity to end a series and end a team, they take it. And he just was following in line with what the great players would do. He had the space. I was in the back pedal. There was a lot of space on the pull-up. I'm living with that. I'm living with it. That's what great players do, man. You go for the win. You go for the kill. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he did, and it didn't work out that way. But, if we had to do it again, I want him to take that shot again. He makes that shot.
UD, you were here in 2005 for the disappointment of losing an Eastern Conference Finals with your team not totally healthy, with what happened with Dwayne that year. That offseason, a lot of players went out and a lot of players came in. Pat kind of reshuffled the roster. You ended up winning a championship. Do you anticipate that kind of summer here? I mean, you guys were close and everybody says you run it back, but that summer you didn't.
I think you're probably about a year or two too early with that question, Ethan. You double back when I get that ownership spot. I might have that answer for you. Right now, I don't know how that's gonna work. That's not my space. My space is to make sure we get the most and maximize the potential of the guys that do come in here. And that's where I stay at. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty good at that. You know what I'm saying? Spose at the head. And, I finish it up from the back, and we have a great coaching staff in the middle. We've been to, 2 out of the last 3 Eastern Conference Finals, and we've been doing well with all things considered. So I don't know how that goes. We'll see.
So we're confirming ownership in 2 years?
That's the plan, Ethan. We'll see. We can't guarantee anything, but that's hopefully what we work on here. Got a lot going on, man. It's a lot inside this head right here.
You just following up on Jimmy and the great ones taking that shot. You've seen so many great teammates down here in great playoff runs. What do you think this playoff run says about Jimmy and kind of his standing in the game? Because sometimes he is overlooked too.
I think a lot of times Jimmy gets overlooked. For whatever reason, if people feel like it's separation between Jimmy and the guys that can really take you to a championship and actually win you a championship, and I don't understand that. I think a lot of times the heart of a champion gets overlooked, and I think that's what people confuse with Jimmy. His heart and him being a little bit rough around the edges, and I think people don't understand that that's really. You know what I'm saying? The definition of who a champion is. If you can get people to believe in you and have the kind of heart that you have, but they really don't, but they can believe that they can, And that's how you get people to believe, and that's how you get people to follow you, and that's how you become a champion. So with the heart and grit that Jimmy has, man, he invested that, and he gets everybody to feel like that and play like that. And even if you're not as tough as Jimmy, even if you're not as aggressive as Jimmy, if you believe that you are as tough as Jimmy, if you believe as you are as aggressive as Jimmy, if everybody can believe, then you see you get the most out of everybody. And I think that was the step that Jimmy took as far as getting everybody to believe. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just about his numbers. You know, his numbers were insane. His numbers were great. But I think Jimmy got everybody to really believe. And once everybody believed, they started to follow.
You're obviously good at a lot of things and could be good at a lot of things post-playing. I know you've talked about ownership today with us and with Jim Barry previously. Beyond that, what would appeal to you in basketball, do you think, after playing? Would it be working in a front office and helping make personnel decisions, scouting, being on a coaching staff? Udonis?
Nah. So coaching don't work for me. And I'm gonna tell you why. I got too much going on outside in the city. Got too much. You know what I'm saying? I'm a businessman. You know what I mean? Outside of my franchises, you know, the next step is a mental health and drug rehab facility that we're working on. I also have my affordable housing projects, my FTX partnership. Also ventured out into the medical field with my wife. So it's just a lot going on right now. I don't have the time to dedicate. I know coaches got to be here before the players. It's hard enough for me to get here as it is now. So coaching doesn't work for me. But I think impacting this organization, that's always going to be a priority for me. It's always going to be something near and dear to my heart. That's always going to be something that's important to me. And that's always going to something that's going to bring out the best of me. You know, that's always going to bring out the best of me. Because when it's something that, you know, that's important to you and it's something that you really care about, you give it the best version of yourself and it doesn't seem like work. And that's something that just doesn't seem like work when I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Running up and down the court, practicing every day, even doing the stuff that I got to do just to be in shape and keep up with these guys. It doesn't seem like work. You know what I mean? Because I have the opportunity to just impact these guys and watch them do it on the basketball court. So I love that, and that's always going to be something that's just going to be a part of me, and I'm going to be invested in. Is impacting this organization at any level. And I just think as time goes on and you start to make that pivot, you know, that's something that just makes, you know, the most sense. And then, you know, it's going to be really serious with me and D-Wade then. Yeah, it's going to be on then. Ownership, if I can get in that seat, me and D-Wade going to have a lot to talk about.
How close do you think Omer is to being a consistent rotation player in this?
I love O, man. O took some steps. O strong as hell. O might be the strongest player we got. You know, for me, it's just getting an opportunity to play. You know, O just has to get the opportunity to play and go out there and contribute. You know, we got a lot of guys that, you know, didn't get the chance to go out there and play. But the one thing we did have was guys that when they got their opportunity, a number was called, they stepped up and they contributed. And I think that's what O did time and time again. And he proved that he's reliable, he's capable, and if he gets, you know, if he gets consistent minutes, that he can be a consistent basketball player for us. I think he's only going to get better. I don't think people even seen to scratch the surface of his skill level. You know, we use him as a roll to the basket big, but he can also step away, stretch the floor, and shoot the three a little bit, and do things like that.
Just looking at the job PJ did this season as a leader, Spo was just saying that he was surprised about his offensive game. Was anything surprising about the job he did, and just how impactful was he this season as a leader?
Man, I was surprised at just how hard and how consistent and just how, you know, tough PJ is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's very few guys that I feel like, you know, approach the game every night the way I did. You know what I'm saying? And PJ just happened to be one of them. You know what I'm saying? So I was just thankful to have a guy like PJ on our team. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching this guy go out every night and burn the candle from both ends and give you everything he got. Like, he ain't leaving nothing, you know what I'm saying, when the clock hit, you know, zeros. And that's admirable, you know what I'm saying? Through rain, sleet, snow, you know, bumped up, bruised, PJ was going to give you, you know, everything he had 7 days a week and twice on Sunday. So I'm thankful for a guy like PJ. Guys like PJ are overlooked, and, you know, he's a warrior, and we appreciate a guy like PJ. Great team player. Always positive, hold guys accountable, defensive first type guy. And he got a little offense, like Spo said. He got a little game to him offensively with his trickery, his fake handoffs, his floater, different things like that.
Thanks, UD.
Thank you.